Wildcat Basketball Weekly, presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union, home of the official U of A debit card. Get yours today at hughesfcu.org.
Welcome to another edition of Wildcat Weekly with head coach Sean Miller. Big week, we'll call it the A week for the Wildcats. Academics, Ayton, Alonzo, and Alkins. We'll start them in order. Academic week, this is finals week, Coach. I know on Friday when your team gets on that plane, there's a sense of relief, but before that, this is a big week to hit the books.
It is, and you know, college basketball, we're the only sport, Brian, that deals with both semesters. And you know, the more you travel and play tough non-conference games or enter tournaments like we've done, the more it's almost the same. So it puts a lot of pressure on our guys academically, especially here at the very, very end, because you're juggling games, in our case, a big away game, in final exam week, and with the tests and the papers. But our guys have done a really good job. We've really given them some time to focus here early in the week, and then once we're here midweek to late, then our focus shifts as they finish up towards New Mexico. But we've done a really good job academically. I think we're going to have a great semester. And you know, the oldest guys, which is always the focus because they're headed towards graduation, Parker, Doosan, and Keanu, and those guys, especially Doosan and Parker being here for 4 years, they really have, they're going to have a great spring semester, not a whole lot to do.
DeAndre Ayton had his best statistical game against Alabama. Could you talk about the defenses that he has seen so far this season and how he's reacted to them?
Well, I think that a lot of coaches are scared to trap him and double him because he's proven that he's not only a willing passer, that's where it starts, you have to be willing to pass it out, right? But he has a cleverness about him and a way of passing where he can find his teammates. Some of our best shots that we've gotten this year have been a result of the ball getting into DeAndre, him taking his time and making the defense pay by double or triple teaming him, however they go about that. So with that, he's seen some of that, but I think that he's proven, and by the way, you know, the other players that he's throwing them to can play. So it's not like we have that one guy on the court that you don't need to guard. But you know, among the many things DeAndre's done well here early is his assist-to-turnover ratio and the way he's passed the ball, and Doosan has done the same. A big improvement in Doosan's game is his ability to not only score down low, but to be able to not turn it over and at times throw it out and get a teammate a good shot.
Hughes is proud to have been serving the local community and delivering outstanding financial performance and value to their members since 1952.
As a performer, my time is valuable, and I count on Hughes Mobile Services to help me run my life.
I'm so glad I made the switch to Hughes.
I love being a Hughes member. They're local and they give back to my community.
Make the switch. Team up with Hughes Federal Credit Union by becoming a member today.
Wildcat Basketball Weekly continues, presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union. Show your Wildcat spirit with a U of A Visa debit card. Get yours today at hughesfcu.org.
Alonzo had a great second half against Alabama, and he just seems to have that ability. Is he one of those guys that, use that old phrase, wants to put the team on his back when he knows that they need that spark?
You know, Alonzo's always had the characteristic of when he gets rolling on offense, he can really keep it going. And, you know, I mentioned earlier, Brian, it's tough to score 20 points in a game in college. And Alonzo's scored 20 or more points in a half here through our first 10 games. I'm going to guess 3 times, but it could be as high as 4 or 5 times. So you think about it, 20-plus point half. And it says a lot about your ability to score, and he's doing it in a very efficient way. It's not like he's a volume shooter. You look at his field goal attempts. You know, if anything, you know, I think that his shot selection has been good, and his percentage inside the arc from 2 has never been better. So his ability to score against Alabama in the second half is a big reason we won.
Coach Riley Alkins is back. He's played in 1 game now, and let's ignore the statistics. What does Raleigh bring to the table? What does he add to your team?
Well, he adds a real toughness. You know, Raleigh is a physical basketball player on both offense and defense. He rebounds at both ends. He's not afraid of the moment. Take on a big challenge on who he guards. He's also an excellent passer. So it's his versatility and I think his confidence in both himself and what we do. I think it's very contagious, and we're excited to have him back. And I think for both Raleigh and our fans, you have to have a certain level of patience. It's not as if he's been practicing for 2 months and not playing. I mean, as you know, he was in a non-weight-bearing boot, cast, etc., for 6-7 weeks, and then he hasn't really been cleared for contact for more than 5 practices. So my hope is he can stay healthy, and this is the beginning of a long journey for him.
New Mexico does not have a glossy one-loss record. Does not mean that's not a good basketball team, especially at home. What do you expect from the Lobos on Saturday?
Well, they force turnovers by pressing, switch a lot in the half court, maybe more than any team we've played. Have a similar defensive style as NC State did, and I think we'll call on that experience, because the one thing we did do well in that game is we played with 8 turnovers. And if we could go to New Mexico and play with single-digit turnovers, that will really be a big statistic in our favor. But on offense, they play a fast pace. They average 31 three-point field goal attempts a game, which is very, very high. Their pace, like I said, is up and down. And when you have an up and down pace, you force turnovers, you shoot a lot of threes, it's clearly a dangerous team, especially when you throw in a hostile crowd, a great crowd, a college basketball environment that really favors the home team. So we know all that. It's a big reason we wanted to play New Mexico is, it's a quality opponent. It gives us a great opportunity, and leaving the game, we're going to be more prepared for games on our schedule in the Pac-12.
Wildcats and the Lobos Saturday night in Albuquerque. Then next Monday, the Wildcats home to host North Dakota State. And we'll see you next time on Wildcat Weekly.
Thanks for watching Wildcat Basketball Weekly, presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union, home of the free U of A Visa debit card. Get yours today at hughesfcu.org, federally insured by NCUA.